Joe, you've been here for quite a few years, so you've seen a lot of changes in the cattle operation on the 4/6s. Let's talk about some of the early cattle that were here and how all of this has morphed into what it is today.
Well, Red, when I came here 17 years ago, the ranch we had straight Hereford cows. In my opinion, probably some of the best Hereford cows in Texas and probably a large part of the United States. We just saw a change in the marketing of the Hereford cattle. We saw a need to start making a transition, and so after 100 years of Hereford cattle, plus or minus, we started making a transition to black cattle by using quality Angus bulls on our Hereford cows. And in the 17 years I've been here, we've made that transition, and we have straight black cows, a few black baldies left, but we've seen the increase in performance in the feedlots, the quality of the meat that's going to the packers and to the customers, into the retail improved dramatically. The temperament of the cattle are better, largely due to genetics and also largely due to the brush control that we've done here.
And several years ago, you had a tremendous challenge. You had no grass, you had no water. The drought was devastating to all of West Texas. And tell us about the changes you made and how you have protected the genetics of these cattle and protected your numbers.
Well, in 2011, we were going into a historic drought here in Texas. I thought that I knew what a drought was until 2011, but we were faced with 100+ degree heat for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. Our water was fast becoming non-existent. The grass was short, and we looked, first thing we looked at was the condition of the ranch, and made the decision that if we didn't do something drastic, that we were going to hurt this land for the future generations that's coming up to run the ranch and to live on it. And then we looked at the genetic, the money that we had put into genetics over the years, and you know, you can't get those genetics back in a short amount of time. And then the third factor we looked at was we have a lot of second and third generation people that work on this ranch. And the employees here mean a lot to us, mean a lot to Ann. You know, they're like family. And so we looked at all those factors and decided that we needed to think outside the box and see what we could come up with to hold our genetics and our numbers together, gambling that the market would be there in the future. So over a period of time of about 1.5 years, we ended up moving over 4,000 cows north. We held our base herd together and went through the transition with the cows, moving them up north, which was not always easy, but we got it done because of good people and hard work. And so we were able to keep our employees together. We were able to keep our numbers of cattle together and keep our numbers up, and that's where we are today.
Joe, what's the criteria that you use to select the females that you're going to keep for your herd?
We go through and we pick the best of the best when they're as heifer calves. And we will go back through and we will select another 2 or 3 times. We'll cull on those cattle 2 or 3 more times. And then we don't give any second chances here. If those heifers don't have a calf, well, obviously, if they don't breed, well, we get rid of the open cows. But then if that heifer doesn't raise a calf, and she doesn't have a calf on her side in the spring when we're branding, she's gone. And if that heifer is not bred back, she's gone. And that same criteria happens all the way through to adulthood in that cow. There's no second chances. But if a cow can't raise a calf in the winter and breed back and be in good flesh going into spring, not after they've been on green grass for, you know, a month or two and really on the mend. But if that cow is not an easy fleshing cow, then she's gone, because she just does not have what it takes for our program. Because we want a cow that not only is conformationally good, genetically good, but that can get out and make a living. The third criteria is they've got to perform in the feedlot. We fed our own cattle for years and years, all the way through, and so we've got a lot of data on how well our cattle perform. And if we've got a group of cows, it's hard for us to individually keep up with an individual calf, but if our cattle as a whole aren't performing like they need to in a feedlot, we need to adjust on that in the bull battery. But it's also got to happen in the females.